Hey, how's it going YouTube? I'm back in the video, and today I'm going to talk about how the Toronto Raptors will be beating the Milwaukee Bucks in this series, as they did just recently tie the series up 2-2 just last night, or as I'm making this video tonight, they tied the series up 2-2, and Kawhi Leonard didn't even play that good, which is a very good sign for Toronto to be able to win games, even though Kawhi Leonard does not have his best game of the playoffs like he's been having every single night for the past few nights, as Kawhi Leonard's probably been the best, if not the best, the second best player in the entire playoffs of this season. Now, once again, if I do sound sick, do sound kind of stuffed up in this video, it's because the allergies are really kicking in. Hopefully, they go past pretty soon, but I'm still going to be making the videos despite it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. My voices might sound a little bit different for you guys that are returning. So, yeah, but if you do like the video, you put a like button and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And without rambling on too much, let's get right into this video. So, for my first reason this video is going to be that they match up very, very well. As Kyle Lowry and Eric Bledsoe, they are both very, very equally matched, as they're both very good veteran point guards who know what they're doing, and they're not going to hurt their team, but they're also not going to help their team too much. But both of them can go off in any given night. As Eric Bledsoe is a fringe All-Star level player, Kyle Lowry is an All-Star level player. They're very, very close in talent-wise. They're not going to turn the ball over very much. They're very smart, very good veterans, and they really know what they're doing. So that's pretty much a wash. They're pretty much even in their matchups. And then you have Malcolm Brogdon on Danny Green. Now, yes, Malcolm Brogdon's probably a better scorer than Danny Green, but Danny Green has the experience over Malcolm Brogdon, which is very, very big. Danny Green knows how to win these situations and everything. So, I mean, that matchup is also pretty much a wash. Either one of those players can get hot on any given night, which could be very big, and they could be very big contributors to their team on any given night. So really the guards on both teams, when you look at it, Kyle Lowry, Eric Bledsoe, Danny Green, and Malcolm Brogdon, the matchups are very, very even, as I mean, you could probably give the slight edge to Kyle Lowry over Eric Bledsoe, and you could probably give the slight edge of Malcolm Brogdon over Danny Green. So their guards are very, very evenly matched. But now when you look at their small forwards, now you have Giannis and Kawhi Leonard, both of which are the two best players on each of their teams, and both are top 5 players in the NBA. And I mean, that matchup is also very, very close, but despite it being extremely close and extremely, not one's not very much better than the other, if better at all, in my opinion, Kawhi Leonard is the better player than Giannis, only because Kawhi Leonard has been this far in the playoffs. He knows how to win. He's won NBA Finals. He has the experience, and off the experience alone, I'm giving the advantage to Kawhi Leonard in this matchup. I don't think Giannis is that much worse of a player, and I'm not even a Kawhi Leonard fan or a Toronto Raptors fan. I just personally think off of the experience alone, Kawhi is the better player. But now when you look at their forwards, now you have Siakam on Nikola Mirotic, who Nikola Mirotic is one of in my opinion, the most underrated players on the team. I really liked him when he was on the New Orleans Pelicans. It can spread the floor from the 4 position, which is very important, as he's probably has one of the best 3-point shots from that 4 position in the entire league, and he can knock it down when it's contested as well. And while Pascal Siakam, just this year, has finally had a breakout year and has been playing like an all-star level all year, it has been a huge, huge contributor to the Toronto Raptors, and I would probably give that off athleticism alone and just goodness all alone, I would probably give that advantage to Pascal Siakam. And now when you look at both of the centers on the team, Brook Lopez versus Marc Gasol, Marc Gasol is good, and so is Brook Lopez, but they're both on the back end of their careers and just good veterans to have to grab boards and really keep the team calm when you have to have them calm and stuff. And that's pretty much what they're there for, just to be veteran leaders. And I mean, that's pretty much a wash as well. And both the benches are also extremely matched, but you could probably give the advantage to the Milwaukee Bucks bench. So although these teams do match up pretty equally, I do give the very slight advantage to the Toronto Raptors off of experience, off of a little bit more talent in my opinion, and that since the benches are so even, and the Milwaukee Bucks' strength of their team is pretty much their bench, that I have to give it to the Toronto Raptors in the way they match up. And I just think the way that they match up and how these teams play, it favors in the Toronto Raptors' favor a lot more. But now my second reason is going to be that they have the best player on the court, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, I think Kawhi Leonard is not very much better, but is a better player than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And when the teams are so evenly matched up, it usually comes down to who has the best player on the floor. As we saw Golden State before they got Kevin Durant, when they had Steph Curry, Klay, Draymond in the 2015-16 finals, we saw that, I mean, the Warriors really weren't that much better than the Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers had the best player on the court that one year, and they ended up winning the NBA Finals. You add Durant, now yes, yes, Cleveland would still have the best player on the court, but now the Golden State Warriors now had the second and third best players on the court at all times as well. So in the matchup, it didn't matter who had the best player on the court at that point. But before the Golden State Warriors added Durant, LeBron was the best player on the court, and they really did show, as they did win the NBA Finals that one year. before Durant was at it. So I think the same story could be told for this Toronto Raptors and Toronto Raptors Milwaukee Bucks matchup, where Kawhi Leonard's the best player on the court, and that could lead to them winning this series. And I do give him the slight edge over Giannis. So I think them having the best player on the court is going to be extremely, extremely crucial for them to win this series. But now my third and final reason for his view is going to be that they have a lot more experience than they do. As I mean, when you look at it, what the Milwaukee Bucks have, yes, they have Eric Bledsoe, who's a veteran who's been in the league a long time, but he spent most of his years with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, as you know, have not been very good for a long, long time, and especially when Eric Bledsoe was on team, they really had very little success, so he has very, very little playoff experience outside of being with the Milwaukee Bucks. And then you look at Malcolm Brogdon, extremely, extremely young, same with Chris Middleton and all of them. Chris Middleton and Brogdon, although being two very big pieces of this team, not really much playoff experience at all outside of the second round last year. And yes, they're very good, but they don't know how to win at this point in the season. Same with Giannis. Giannis is a beast, but his experience is very, very low right now. This is only his second time in the playoffs, and now he's going up against one of the already finals MVP, and some players have been in the Western Conference Final or their conference finals a lot. So they're just a very young team that could affect them a lot. But then you look at how much Toronto Raptors experience have, and it is actually ridiculous. As I mean, when you look at it, they have people like Kyle Lowry, who's been to the Eastern Conference Finals twice and has made the playoffs every single year of his career. Kawhi Leonard, he's made the NBA Finals, won the NBA Finals, and won the NBA Finals MVP, so he knows what it takes to win on the biggest level in the entire NBA. And then also, they have people like Marc Gasol, who's been to the conference finals twice, and also Danny Green, who's won the NBA Finals with the Kawhi Leonard San Antonio Spurs team. So they have a lot of players that know how to win this deep into the playoffs and who really know what they're doing. And unfortunately for the Bucks, they just don't have enough players at that level. As I mean, outside of George Hill, Brook Lopez doesn't have much playoff experience, so probably just George Hill, who's been in the finals just last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they got swept in that finals, so even he doesn't know how to win, but at least he knows what it takes to get there. So outside of really people like George Hill, they don't really have much people that know how to win this deep in the playoffs, and I think that's going to affect them a lot. Even their coach doesn't know how to win this deep in the playoffs, as he hasn't been that deep at all. And while the Toronto Raptors, yes, Nick Nurse is a very new coach for them, but he has had a lot of playoff success in his career, so you have to give all that to the Toronto Raptors. But unfortunately, since this is the end of the video, I wanted to see what y'all think. Do y'all agree with me? Do you think Toronto is going to beat the Bucks? Do you think they're not? All your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you have any video ideas you want to see me make in the future, comment those below as well. And like I said earlier, if you do like the video, point like button and hit the subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. Hope you have a blessed day. Can I have a blessed day? So you need to have a blessed day. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah, blah.